I wasn't sure how I wanted to end this year. I wanted to actually write a letter to 2020, but when I thought about it, it was gonna be way too much for me to really dive deep into, and the letter would be way too long. So I'm just gonna kind of sum up basically everything that I feel about 2020. Dear 2020, I'm not really sure what to say to you. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of frustration, but on the other hand, there is a lot of love and gratefulness. Of course, not to any of the insane madness that went on the entire year and is still continuing to go on. Even though so many insane, bad things happen, I won't say everything bad came from it. You know how I am. I'm always like, don't see it as 1000% bad thing. Take the good from what you have, so you're not in a miserable, I don't even know what to call it. But this year definitely did start off promising, and March came. This is before really anyone knew anything that was going on. I knew people were getting sick and all of that stuff, but I didn't know, no one knew it would be like this. I remember feeling slightly relieved when they were saying we were gonna take a 2-week break from everything. I was getting sick because of the winter, and everyone was like sneezing and coughing and spreading their germs, and I get sick so easily, and I get sick for a long time. Even then, my body was really exhausted. I was weak mentally and physically. I think I had like the super flu right before, and then I got sick again. And so when they were saying we were taking 2 weeks off, I was kind of relieved and happy because I just needed that rest and I needed that break. But then as the days were going and they said we weren't really allowed to go back, and this is after I got better, I started getting more frustrated and cabin crazy. I didn't really know what to do with myself, so I made myself actually do the things that I've been planning on doing but never got around to it. I was able to get to the things that I wanted to, clean what I wanted to, organize what I wanted to, and I was able to kind of open back that door of creativity, and I decided to return back to YouTube and just make videos. I'm pretty amazed at what came out of it and the things that I can do and how fast I was growing in such a short amount of time. As the days went on, more destruction happened, more chaos. I can't even remember all of the order of the insanity. All I know is just, it's crazy. I will definitely say 2020 did give time, a lot of time. Since we couldn't really do anything, you spent a lot of time at home, a lot of time with yourself to think and, figure out your life, a lot of time to spend with your family or whoever was in your house or wherever you were living, and you just had a lot of togetherness, and you got to learn more about those who are around you, and they got to learn more about you. Unfortunately, some didn't have the best time because they're not in a safe environment, so that always got to me and always bothered me, and I prayed for you guys every day if you were one of them. But it also did take away time. I don't even know where this year went. It literally was January, February, March, December. But along with giving time to spend with family, it's taken that time away. It's taken that togetherness away. If you weren't around anyone who, is your family or who you really care for or were caring for, there was no way you can get to them. You couldn't get to your grandparents, you couldn't get to your regular parents, you couldn't get to your siblings, you couldn't get to anyone if they were not in your household. And I was basically on my own alone. So it was literally just myself and my husband and no one else. And we never saw anybody. Calls, occasionally. Of course, we had the beloved Zoom, which I have a love-hate relationship with. All I can say is I'm really glad I'm not a kid, and I'm really glad I'm not a student, because this would have driven me nuts. I would have been really upset. So I'm really sorry that, you know, it's changed life forever. I don't know. I don't know. They never got to graduate. They never got to go to their prom. They never got to, you know, really experience those memories that, you know, everyone before them got to. So I'm sorry for that. So along with the miserable Zoom, you've given us the freedom to not have to wear pants or real clothes. Like, all you would have to do is dress up your shirt and your barely do your hair and whatever. And it was nice to stay home and to be able to stay home and not have to drive. So I did save a lot of money on commute and everything. And it was just kind of like one of those zombie apocalypse adventures whenever we did have to go to the supermarket. So that was the only crazy, chaotic thing. But on the other hand, you've taken away a lot of jobs and security. That was a huge concern for me in the very beginning, because it was uncertain and unsure. And luckily I'm in the field that it's always needed. So I'm okay, but thousands of people are not. And of course our government is terrible and supporting and giving money and, you know, caring for their people. So I don't know how it's gonna go. But at least 2020 gave everyone the ability to see people for who they truly are and how they truly think and how they really behave, because I didn't know there was that many stupid people out in the world, and crazy, and just the lack of common sense it astonishes me, and I can't even believe that many people exist in the world, and they're birthing children and teaching them the way they think, and it's crazy. So I'm glad it kind of shed light on that, and hopefully people can kind of stop and reevaluate their life and reevaluate their way of thinking and way of behaving, and hopefully from this point on everyone can start giving more and caring more, which I think that's also kind of changed. So that was a plus that resulted from the chaos. A really big thing that kind of plays both sides of the fence with me is health. I'm definitely one of the at-risk people, and because I get so sick so easily and my immune system's not the best, and I have asthma and trouble breathing. I have a rough time with the masks in the first place, and it's a bit difficult. So I see the frustration, but it's not enough to put everybody at risk to not want to wear it, because I do hate wearing them, and like talking and breathing, I feel like it makes me more out of breath, I guess, because we're breathing back in the carbon dioxide that we're putting out. So it's just making it more difficult. But I mean, that's something I'm dealing with, something, you know, people who are even worse off than me are dealing with. So for those who are healthy and, you know, completely fine and have nothing to worry about, who complain about wearing masks, I'm like, get over it. You're good. So just stop complaining. But that's one of the things I'm terrified of, when we actually full on have to go back into society and mingle and interact and kind of mesh with each other in the same capacity as we were before. I don't know. I'm really hoping that I don't, you know, even get a cold, because even if I get a regular cold, like, I feel like it's just gonna open me up to death, and that's not something that I want. But it also has given me health. So because I've been distancing from everyone, and because I've been wearing a mask and everyone's wearing a mask and no one's in anybody's face or touching or hugging or, you know, doing any of that stuff, I haven't been sick since January or February. Actually, no, it was March when I started and I was sick then. I haven't been sick since, and it's a big thing for me, because normally I would be sick once a month and it would be intense. So this whole winning streak of not being sick is it's going good for me, but all good things come to an end, and at some point I feel like something's gonna happen, and you know, but yeah, I don't really know how to, I mean, I do know how I feel about 2020. Everyone kind of feels the same way I feel about 2020, but I can't complain because I'm alive. I can't complain because, you know, I have a house, I have a job still. I can't complain because, you know, I'm well enough to be able to function. And so, it's not something I want to do. I want to complain and I want to just, you know, be crabby about it. But I also don't want to be sunshine and rainbows, because it wasn't sunshine and rainbows, and it still isn't sunshine and rainbows. And, you know, I've lost family, and, you know, it's always hard to reject, you know, when you finally with the people who've been longing to see you for so long, to say, you know, back up, I need my distance, like, we can't, you know, I can't even do this or do that with you. It has been a rough later half of the year for me, of course, because, you know, I still don't even, it's actually even harder to talk about, because, you know, I did lose a child, and I had, it wasn't a nice experience, and it wasn't something I wanted to deal with ever again. It was really rough, and of course, again, I know I'm not the only person who is dealing with that, and, you know, going through a miscarriage and going through getting the ultrasound and all of that stuff, and being alone and not having any support or your partner with you, and the pain and the struggle and everything that came along with it afterwards. But again, the beautiful thing about 2020 is it gives and it takes. So it took that from me, and 2 months later it gave it back. And so I was pregnant again, and because I had a miscarriage with my first one, it was super stressful, and it changed everything, and I wasn't even, you know, really happy or excited, because I was unsure of anything, and, you know, it's just, it puts that fear in you. The glory of 2020, I lost that child, like literally not even a couple weeks ago. So it's not nice or fun, and it's just a miserable tease. And I mean, I can't even like fully explain or go in depth or just really, I don't know, but all I can say is 2020, just, you can shove it in a nice way to put it, but I can't be completely angry, because I still have my family, I still have their support and their love, and I can still continue to do the things that I love. And it's like one of those movies or something where like a genie or a god grants you a wish, but it takes something really important away. And I feel like 2020's just been taking and taking and taking, and it gives a little bit, and it gives, you know, the little things, but then it takes away the big, important, intense, like, it's a roller coaster. And unfortunately, I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this year to be over, and maybe they're in some fantasy illusion that everything's just gonna like snap and disappear and just be good again in 2021 when it's not, and I know it's going to take a while. But again, if you think about history, there's been a lot of plagues, and I'm sure they had their own pandemics, and you know, it's life, and unfortunately we're living in the time of it right now, so I'm sure they've had the same frustrations, and it probably was worse off because, you know, there was less, you know, knowledge about medicine and science and stuff, so I'm sure there was a lot more deaths, a lot more misery, a lot more pain. But they survived, and life went on. So we will survive, and life will go on, whether we're here to see the end of it or, you know, not. It's gonna happen. So just enjoy the time you are here, and enjoy the time spent with those who are around you, because if you think about it, what would you do if they weren't around? Would you be as happy? Yes, your siblings and your family and your significant other might be a pain in the ass. Love them to death, and take care of them and take care of yourself. And hopefully all of this craziness dies down. I am interested to see what will come of the future. I just kind of wanted to say my goodbyes to 2020 and say hello to 2021. And I'm sure I'll hate it just as much, but whatever. So with that being said, have a wonderful night, morning, evening, or afternoon whenever you're watching. And I'll see you lovelies next time. Bye.